Behind me is the Maserati MC20 Cielo. I'm not convinced that I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'm also not Italian. And in way of cars that I've driven that have really taken me by surprise, this one might take the cake. In prior years and prior models of driving Maseratis, I expect a vehicle that is luxury first, performance secondary, and the MC20 really blew that out of the water. This is like driving a McLaren's very Italian, very capable cousin. One thing I think is the most notable and the most important to remember is, although Maserati hasn't always had the best reputation for reliability, the MC20 Cielo and actually everything in the new showroom comes from a different drivetrain than we got. Previously, you've known the car to have a Ferrari drivetrain, but this one has the Nettuno engine, the turbocharged V6 engine that was built in-house for Maserati. In fact, that brings me to my least favorite thing about the car, which is what I call the guilt meter on the dashboard, which shows not only the percentage of brakes that you're applying when you're driving the car and hitting the brakes, it also shows you how much gas you're using when you're hitting the accelerator pedal in percentage right there, and it feels very guilt-inducing. Though I have noticed with the way I drive it, still within the speed limits and still with a little pizzazz without breaking any road laws, I watch the gas meter go down. I've probably filled it up 3 times in the past week. I regret nothing. I actually just think it has a pretty small tank. What I actually find to be the most surprising about the entire car is that the interior is actually very minimal in probably the best way that I could have expected. Sitting down in the cockpit feels like I'm driving as close as I can to a street legal race car. But what really took this car over the edge for me specifically is that it doesn't drive like a luxury car. It's surprisingly a little bit thrashy when you get on it. Now in GT mode, it's a little loud, but it is a very comfortable car. I've driven it for several hours this week on long haul distances. Well, not long, like an hour to Orlando, an hour back. So I've done a few multiple hour long trips in the car so far, and I can confirm that it is very comfortable to drive. And in Corsa mode, it gets a little thrashy and exciting. It's nice to be in a modern day supercar that's actually offering that visceral driving experience that I know and love from the early 2000s, like 90s era of car. Now, that being said, I would very much equate this in way of personality type to a 90s or 2000s car, and I mean that in the best possible way. The interior of this car is very minimal when it comes to tech. It gives me the tech that I want, a little bit of the tech that I need, and nothing else. And that is what I want out of an enthusiast driver's car. I don't want I don't want screens all over the place. I don't want a bunch of touch buttons. I just want a beautiful little Bluetooth to listen to my music. I love having navigation. It does have Apple CarPlay. Whether it has Android Auto or not, I don't know. I'm not an Android user. Now, you guys know I am a manual elitist jerk. This shares, I believe, the same DCT transmission that you get in the C8 Corvette, and you can feel it shifting in a way that almost made me feel like I was driving an E-gear. When I first got into the car, I was very surprised in a pleasant way because it's not the smoothest, most luxurious, most comfortable driving car ever. It feels like you're driving a bona fide supercar because it is. It's not what I expected from the car. It's a million times better. Unfortunately for me, it's also a million times out of my price range, but I still love to enjoy it. I'm also falling in love with Maserati more and more as I drive their new showroom. If you haven't driven something or checked out something out of the Maserati showroom since they switched over to the Nettuno platform, I urge you to give the brand a second chance because it is such a departure from what we knew when they shared the Ferrari drivetrain. And hopefully that also extends to the reliability problems people have harped on the cars for. Now, will I still look for older ones on Facebook Marketplace? Yes, but we all know I don't make good decisions. I drive a lot of old British cars. What do you expect from me? Let's check out the interior here for a second. This dish right here is actually a cell phone charger, and it works with my iPhone Pro Max. It's actually big enough for that. I don't know why it really pisses me off when manufacturers give you a wireless charging place and it's not actually big enough to use with my phone. Besides that, we have a very modest size touchscreen here. It's got your vehicle controls, which allow us to put the top down here. Actually, very quick process, everything else that you need. Your Apple CarPlay, your navigation, your comfort settings here. You know your girl loves the heated seats. But here's one thing that has always been very important to me, and I will say it's this. My volume control is still a knob, and I know it's a small things in life, but I really love having this. I also think it's cool that the window control buttons are right here in the center stack, like an old Dodge Viper, except in much better condition. Also, big shout out for all of the satin carbon fiber in here around the cabin. You'll see it's actually pretty minimalistic, and if you look over here at the door cards also minimalistic. You've got the handle pull to shut, you've got a button to open, and besides that, you'll notice there's also no buttons, but you do get a little bit of the forged carbon fiber here that you can see makes up the tub. And of course, it wouldn't be an honest review if I didn't talk about the things I don't like about the car besides the gilt meter on the dashboard. The second is the trunk space back here. Granted, it is a mid-engine car, but this is pretty teeny tiny. It's not as bad as the Grand Cabrio Trofeo, I don't think. It does come with a bunch of stuff that I haven't opened because this isn't my car. Another thing that I noticed is it doesn't have It doesn't have an active air brake on the rear. It's just got this beautiful carbon fiber duckbill style here, which, you know, is one less thing to break, so who am I complaining? And something I do think is here, not only does it tell you that it's a Cielo, which by the silhouette of the car, you can barely tell that this is a convertible, which is something I really love. It still does have great rollover protection, which is important in a convertible. And it's also got this is actually paint Maserati trident here. Now, one thing about Maserati is they're going to remind you that you are driving a Maserati at any given point in time. You will not forget. Now, I'm not going to go into a bunch of technical specifications about the car that I don't want to memorize, and frankly, you could read online. Instead, I'm going to tell you genuinely my impressions of the car. Would I buy one? If I had $360,000 for this very spec, absolutely I would. But do I think it's a bona fide supercar? Absolutely. It's rare. I have seen multiple C8 Corvettes this week, and you know what I haven't seen one of almost ever? A Maserati MC20, let alone the Cielo convertible, which my mom is loving the convertible as we take it for a drive around this week. You can check out her review. I'll drop a link on it when I get it posted. I'm doing my best. I'm taking all my time enjoying the car. Can you blame me? I would say if you look at the spec, it doesn't necessarily look flashy, but I can't think of a car that has really gotten more attention while I'm driving around the streets, for better or for worse. People love to see this car. I get thumbs up from little kids. I get people talking to me at the gas station. They love to see it, even though it's really not a flamboyant spec. And honestly, I think that there isn't a better spec for this car. In fact, if I was going to buy one, I would spec it probably exactly like this one. Driving experience, is it comfortable to drive? Yes. Like I said earlier, I've sat in the car for several hours now, and at no point in time have I thought, man, this is a really uncomfortable experience. It is very comfortable, despite the fact that it doesn't really have that much of an interior going on compared to other luxury cars. It doesn't need to. It gives me everything that I need when I'm on a long haul drive and really nothing else, which is how I personally like my supercars. Is it a good performance car? Yes, absolutely. As much as I can say that without having tracked it yet, maybe. Unless on the street legally where I've been able to open the car up, it has been really, really enjoyable to drive. Is it a bona fide supercar? Yes, it's rare. It's got the performance, it's got the pricing, and above all else, it's got that really fun, visceral driving experience that has made me fall in love with the car. And you know, a lot of people are going to be surprised to say it, but between this and the Grand Cabriolet Trofeo that I reviewed a few months ago, I'm really falling in love with the Maserati brand. So hear me out, because I know what you're thinking. Gab, previous generations of Maserati haven't been reliable. Well, this isn't it. Give it a second try. What I thought I was getting with the MC20 Cielo was a very comfortable luxury car with some performance aspects to it, but what I got instead was actually a bona fide supercar that just happened to be very comfortable to drive and have some luxury features, but really not an overwhelming amount. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comment section down below if I've convinced you to give Maserati a second try. And of course, if you don't like the MC20 Cielo, you can leave.